Namaskar friends, welcome back to our channel. This week's video we are going to talk about some of the commonest questions we are asked about Ayurveda, some of the commonest beliefs and myths that people have about Ayurveda. And so me and Neha we are going to discuss about some of these questions and beliefs. So Neha, the first belief many people have is that Ayurveda takes a very long time to show effects, or the duration of Ayurvedic treatments is very long. What would you say about this?
Uh, Actually, it's not always because many times people come to Ayurveda as the last option because they already try different pathies or different medications and then they think about trying Ayurveda. So, in that case, already the duration of the disease is increased. So, if the illness becomes chronic, it takes time to treat. And in that case, and also the special thing about Ayurveda is we not only works on the symptoms, but we work on the roots. So why this illness is coming, what is the pathogenesis? So in that case, we have to think multiple factors, like what is its diet, how is the behavioral pattern, which contradictory food if it is taking or not. I'll give you just simple example. If the patient is coming with the symptom of hyperacidity, and if it is since longer time or more often, then we have to think about the root. For example, if some contradictory food is giving a problem, or some behavioral pattern is wrong, or high inflammatory things are there, so there are many things which we have to think. So in that case, of course, it will take time. But if the duration or the onset of the disease, or we can say in acute condition, if patient comes, automatically it gives earlier and faster effect. Another common belief people have, that Ayurvedic therapies or medicines, they are very expensive. So what you would like to say about it?
If you look at the short-term costs involved with Ayurvedic treatments, they can appear to be a little bit on the higher side. But if you look at the long-term cost involved, then it is much less. Let me give you an example. Like you have also said that we try to work on the root of a disease. So if somebody comes to me with, say, joint pain, giving just a painkiller that would hide the symptoms, that would suppress the symptom, is quite cheap. It doesn't require a lot of effort or a lot of medications or treatments. And if this person then takes this pain killing medication, doesn't feel the pain, and then goes on, continues to do his normal activity, the damage to the joint might go on increasing, and maybe at a later date this person might require a joint replacement surgery, which would be much more expensive. So if you look at the long term cost effectiveness, you will see that Ayurveda is not so expensive. Second thing is, as many of our viewers might know, one of the main aim of Ayurveda is to prevent diseases. And so whatever the cost is involved in preventing a disease would always be less than the cost involved in curing a disease. So again, in the long term, Ayurveda is not at all expensive. Now, many people have this belief that Ayurveda doesn't have any side effects.
That's not true. Anything comes in contact in excess always have the bad effect. For example, if you're sunbathing and for longer time, so the excessive sun or the heat will give you sunburn or the skin related problems. So that's a bad effect. But another example I would like to give, like for example, you are cooking and you put a lot of chilies in your food. So what will happen? This food, it will give you hyperacidity, or it gives some ulceration in the mucosal membrane, and or maybe burning sensation. So this is untoward effect. So many times when the person is coming to Ayurveda practitioner, the practitioner checks him or her and give the correct dosage whatever it's required. But uh, People tend to buy the Ayurvedic medicines over the counter many times because they see it on the television or read in the newspapers that this is good for this problem, and so they think that instead of going to the doctor, we can directly buy from the chemist, and then they have some side effects. Because I'll give you a simple example. If the person is suffering from constipation, many people know that Triphala is one of the best churna or the powder for eliminating constipation problem. So they buy Triphala powder and they take it every day for longer duration, for longer many days. So in that case, Triphala gives dryness to all over your body, not only colons. So that is the side effect, which should not happen. Salil, next common doubt people have that Ayurvedic medicines have heavy metals.
Yes, in certain Ayurvedic medications, heavy metals are used. See, in Ayurveda, we use two different ways of using medications. One is just herbal medications, which are just pure herbs or single herbs or formulations made with just simple herbs. And then there is another method of using medication, which is often called as rasa aushadhi, and this is a herbo-mineral complexes. And in this type of herbo-mineral complexes, sometimes heavy metals are used. But in Ayurveda, whenever we use any type of heavy metal or even a metal, this metal has to go through a very strict process of purification, detoxification, and after that they are used. The idea is that these metals or heavy metals, they do have some benefits and they can also have bad effects. So the idea is to minimize these bad effects and combine them with herbs which are organic so that they can be taken up by the body. There has been some very good research done on some of these preparations with metals and heavy metals by reputed organizations like BARC, and we will put a link of couple of papers in the description box. And this research actually shows that if the medicines, this herbo-mineral preparations, if they are made in a good way, they do not have any detrimental effect. But let me give you a caution: always take any medication under supervision of your Ayurvedic physician. Do not self-medicate. Neha, some people think that Ayurveda is only for Indians or it can only work in India.
No. See, Ayurveda is completely natural science. It's based on nature. So wherever nature exists, Ayurveda can be useful. Now, if you look at the geographical climatic conditions of India, from north to south, east to west, in northern part there is a lot of snowfall, or if you go to the south, there is humidity. If you go to the east, there is heavy rainfall, and if you go to the western region of India, you will see there is a hot and dry climate like which we see in the desert area. This geographical diversity can resemble to various countries. So if Ayurveda can be useful in India, you can use Ayurveda anywhere in the world, just with little bit adaptation and modification.
A lot of people are a little bit afraid to take Ayurvedic treatments or go to an Ayurvedic doctors because they think we give a lot of diet restrictions.
Yes, we do give dietary restrictions, but not a lot, because Ayurveda believe that many diseases have the root in digestive system. So to enhance the healing or enhance the capacity of healing, we have to add some dietary restrictions along with the medications. I'll give you a simple example of hyperacidity. So if the person is coming with hyperacidity problem and since longer time, then in that case we have to tell them avoid eating spicy or oily food or late night sleeping, because on one hand, if you don't restrict them with this thing, and the other hand if you give medication, it's not going to be helpful. So to enhance the healing capacity and to treat the disease, we have to give some important diet restrictions. Salil, Some people say that Ayurveda is not evidence based or Ayurveda need a lot of research. So, what's your take on that?
Uh, See, in clinical research or in clinical medicine, one of the gold standards that is used by Western biomedical medicine is called as a randomized control trial. So, in the randomized control trials, what is done is if you want to test a particular chemical molecule and see what is the effect of this molecule, whether it is beneficial or not, you take a certain number of people and you divide them into two groups, and you give half of them, you give this particular molecule that you want to taste, and to the other half you give a placebo which looks very similar and often tastes very similar to this molecule that you want to taste. And then at the end you see which out of them is more efficacious. So if your molecule that you are testing, if it shows more benefit, then it is accepted. Now the problem is that this method cannot be used often for Ayurveda, because in Ayurveda we believe that a medicine not only works just by some active principle or one active chemical that is present in that formulation. Any formulation works because of its different characteristics, like its taste and its characteristics and its potency and its post digestive effect, what we call it as rasa, virya, vipaka and prabhava of this particular medication. So let me give you an example. Suppose I want to check the efficacy of Chyawanprash. So if I have to follow this randomized control trial method, which is the gold standard, I would have to give Chyawanprash to half of the group, and to the other half I would have to give a product which tastes similar, looks similar and has similar characteristics to Chyawanprash. Now, like I said, Ayurveda believes that the medicine works by all these virtues. So, even the placebo that I give would be efficacious. So, this randomized control trial type of research cannot be really used for Ayurveda. For systems like Ayurveda, which are holistic systems, there is a certain method of doing research which is called as whole system research. And in Ayurveda, you will see that a lot of such type of research is done. There are many good journals like the Journal of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine. We can leave a link for this journal in the description box, wherein such kind of papers are published. Also, certain randomized control trials are done. So, it's not correct to say that Ayurveda is not evidence based. Secondly, what I would like to say is about research. Again, the same thing applies. See, for research, we have to come up with, or we have to utilize methods which are very distinct and unique for Ayurveda, and not just use the research methodology that is used for other types of medical sciences. I'll just give a funny metaphor. Suppose in the jungle, they decide that the king of the jungle will be decided based on the ability to climb trees. Then obviously monkeys would become the kings,
Right?
and a lion and tiger, which have many other characteristics, would not become the kings of the jungle. So we cannot use one criterion for all types of different medical systems.
So, friends, this was our effort to answer the commonest questions asked by the people about Ayurveda. If you like the video, please share with your friends and subscribe to our channel, Pranaveda Dialogues. Till next time, Namaste.
Namaskar.